Olson from North Dakota State is our marketing analyst this week. As U.S. wheat harvest continues to progress, we asked Frayne about yield results as well as international issues producers may want to keep an eye on. But first, we go where the confusion is. Old crop soybeans had a rough week, to put it lightly. They found the limit on Wednesday. Thursday, at least at the time of this taping, was more leaking. As we started with Frayne Thursday morning, we simply asked what was happening.
Well, most of that decrease is coming in old crop soybeans. And for quite some time, we've been very concerned about the pace at which we've been using old crop soybeans. The export pace has been very strong. Domestic crush has been very strong. And so old crop soybeans have had quite a premium to new crop soybeans, or that spread, that differential has been relatively wide. And again, the idea is high prices need to ration use. Well, there's a recognition now of two things. First, that differential, that spread is becoming relatively wide, wider than normal. And then there's the expectation for a pretty good crop coming in on the U.S. soybeans. So again, some of the weather forecasts, extended forecast and crop development is been pretty good right now. The fact that we're not going to have very high heat and humidity and little rainfall during the key pollination and flowering stages now is giving us better hope that we're going to have a stronger old crop production. And as a result, we're looking at those and saying, it doesn't look like we have to have that premium in the market anymore. And once that started shifting, a lot of the speculative community and the investment community, which had been working on those spreads, suddenly realized we've overdone this a bit and we're going to have to bring that back into line.
Wednesday was an especially rough day, and you might have thought that the bleeding was done then, but as we stand Thursday morning, it's down again, and it's down again hard. What would be the advice if you decided to hold on through this thing?
Well, first, I know you got to get over the fact of kicking yourself saying I woulda, shoulda, coulda. And so just recognize that we're in a little bit of a new environment. And to be very blunt, in my perspective, the soybean crop is not made yet. We still have some development and quite a bit before harvest. So there's still some production problems that could occur. And the soybean stocks are tight enough that, as well as corn, that we're going to have a major response from price standpoint if there is a production problem. Now, at this stage, you're still gambling. Depending upon bin space and your available cash flow, there's kind of two strategies. You take your lumps, you cut and run and say this is the way it is. Or if you're willing to gamble and have the capacity to do that, we do have about a month worth of marketing year left in the old crop. There's still some sparks that can occur.
All right, let's move into wheat. Harvest continues to roll. What are you seeing or what are you hearing for yield results across the country?
Well, for the winter wheat crop, it's extremely variable. We always have some variation or some range of yields and quality, but this year it's really been an extreme range in both production and yields, as well as the quality attributes. So in general, if we kind of generalize or pool this together, in general, I think most farmers were a bit pleased. They had better yields than they had expected, but there are some quality issues starting to show up. And I also recognize now from a quality standpoint, it's really the cash market that has to deal with those issues. We're not going to see major changes in the futures market because of quality. That's primarily concerned about the quantity or the bushel issue. So just be watching your local cash market on the discounts and premiums that are out there. There might be some opportunities if you have some higher quality wheat.
That's domestically. What about internationally for those countries that are kind of on the same schedule here of production?
Yeah, there's a couple of things we're looking forward to. I mean, there's things in the market we need to be keeping an eye on. On the production side, it looks as though the expectations out of Russia for their wheat production is slowly being nibbled away. The most recent expectations are actually much lower than what USDA, WASDE forecasts are. So we'll wait to see what USDA does with the Russian production numbers. On the demand side, there's a few things that are also developing. Again, positive for world wheat prices. One of them is that Egypt is now been able to get a financing package put together. The last couple of years, they've drawn down their domestic stocks. It looks as though they are going to be coming into the market now and trying to rebuild those stocks, as well as add some political stability because of their wheat subsidy program they have domestically. The other thing we're watching very closely is what's happening in China. China is a major wheat producer, but also a major wheat consumer. And they've also had some production problems with some disease issues, as well as some extremely wet weather. and as a result, their milling quality wheat supplies are a bit short this year. They've already come in and bought some U.S. wheat, primarily soft red winter wheat. The expectation as we move forward, as they get into their harvest time period now and they're finding out how many bushels and the quality, the expectation is they'll come back into the world market and buy some more milling quality wheat, which again, the U.S. has ample supplies right now.
We talk so much about wheat following corn or following corn and soybeans. Does that principle still stay, or do they now split and operate independently?
I'm expecting that the wheat market and the corn market are going to start separating. Up until this point, old crop corn supplies have been so tight that the milling wheat market has had to have a substantial premium over corn just to stay competitive and prevent milling wheat from going into feed channels. And now we're starting to see, as corn prices have come down, world supply-demand conditions tighten up on the world wheat market. I do expect that the wheat market will start to separate itself a bit more from corn. There's always going to be a linkage there, but I think we're going to start to see wheat more responsive to the supply-demand conditions of wheat.